So where did I fit? And when was I able to make my mark? And so coming out of Spelman, and my mother, she didn't really want me to do too many sit-ins. We did, but her thing was I sent you there for college, get a degree. So so I did it, but I had to just I couldn't be the one to get arrested. I had to be in the front and then side swipe. And also, I was not I was not more like Dr. King's, turn your cheek. I was more like Stokely Carmichael. That was like, you hit me, I'm hit you back. So it was like a little different for me
West
in
Philly.
terms. Yeah,
West Philly.
it was the West Philly came out. So I was part of the SNCC movement, which was not the SLIC movement, which is the Dr. King's movement. But I was the student nonviolent committee. But so I really worked in the office a lot, because they knew me and they knew that there are things that happened that I can't say on this podcast, but that my mouth would come right out. And, so. But anyway, it's good to know yourself. But anyway, during that time is when I came. And then when I came back to Philadelphia and started to teach that first year, I'm looking around and I'm saying, where I'm teaching, I taught in Germantown. So Germantown was not like teaching in North Philadelphia, because in North Philadelphia was where all of the black teachers and black principals were. In Mount Airy, Germantown, there were some, but I started searching them out, and they became part of my role model and growing principals who kind of identified me as a leader, because I was just doing what I do, which was making a difference in the life of children from the very beginning. I did not want to teach. I didn't think I would teach. But once I got in the door, I knew this was where I should be. I had a very interesting interview with a gentleman and a woman who to apply as a parole officer. And after having the interview, the woman said to me, you need to be on the front end of children. Mm. And I was like, on the front end of children? I left there thinking, what a wild way to tell somebody you don't have a job. Right. But then maybe 5 to 10 years later did I realize what this person meant. That the work that I do is to catch them before they get to that place where they have a mark on them. And so that's the work that has started for me, and that's when I started on the idea of, okay, I've got 30 in a class, but if I am a school leader, then maybe I can impress 30 times 30, which is 900 children, and that's what started me there. Now, I can list so many African American women in my life: Dr. Connie Clayton, Lee Scott, and just so many people that walked with me, Hytolia James, who I looked up to, and that I hope that I have made them proud in the work that I've done over the years. Sessions, there's so many, and black men. But what I learned from being at Spelman was that the color of our skin is the joy of the world. That without us, this world would not work, particularly America. And so watching me now and with the young people, so that when they leave us, that they understand what it is to be black and that they are proud of it. We are very proud. I don't want to be any other color. And sometimes I'm riding through the streets and I'll see us. Sometimes I'm proud of us, and sometimes I'm not so proud of us. But then I also will see folks of another hue, and I'll think, they don't have what we got. They don't have sisterhood. They don't have brotherhood. I am still in contact with all of my sisters at Spelman, and we go and travel together once a year. I've been out of school a pretty long time now, but you wouldn't know it when we sit down and crackle together and act like, we've been there together. But I guess, just make a long story short, Angela Davis was my first role model. And then the person who really, I didn't realize that I was her, was my mother, Audrey Johnson Thornton. Because, growing up, you always don't want to be like your mother. Nobody wants to be like their mother. It's like, I don't know, But that's what I was. But I also watched her growing up and watched her from the things that she did to have a good life for us. My mother went back to school and got her degree at 60 years old. My mother got all the way to the doctorate. She just didn't finish her dissertation. But she went to school after she put her children through school. Right. So, I wasn't born with no silver spoon like other people, It was a matter of doing what I had seen people do, especially women, because that's what I am, okay? And so as years passed and I saw that, and people would say to me, you are just like your mother. I would say, and then I realized I am. Pretty much the drive that she have is the drive that I have. And even today, people say to me, when are you going to stop? I'm not going to stop, because she's that driven. She at 88, she retired. So that's it. Any other questions?
Yeah, well, the perfect segue, right? Perfect segue.
I'm sorry.
Because part two, we're in part two right now. We're in part two right now, and it is a great, great conversation, Dr. Booker. The 2022 theme for Women's History Month is providing healing, promoting hope.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, I heard you mention mentors, but 3 names: Angela Davis and Miss Sessions. Mm-hmm. And Miss Audrey Johnson Thornton. I happen to know one of them personally, Miss Audrey Johnson Thornton. One I know, and just show you how important this woman was, Miss Sessions. I didn't go to Overbrook High School, but everybody in the city knew who the counselor at Overbrook High School was. Right. I knew Miss Sessions, and I knew. So when you said that, I was like, wow, okay. And I happened to see you walk through my room and look at a poster. There's a poster of Angela Davis up there that says, sometimes courage doesn't roar, but sometimes it has to. And I just watched you smile and just shake your head. And I didn't realize it till right now, just making the connection. Mentorship.
Yeah, mentorship.
Let you know, and I want you to speak to, if you can, and I know that you can, how many scholars have left Global, went to high school, and because of you, followed your trek to Spelman?
Wow. We can go back to not just to Spelman, but to Girls High. Mm-hmm. Because quite a few of our scholars have gone to Girls High as a result of me talking about it. And they'll come to me and say, I want to go to Girls High. They'll tell me that in 5th grade, or 4th grade. And, it's like, well, whatever I can do. And then I would tell them what they need to do to get into Girls High. Same thing happens with Spelman. Because going to Spelman is not just about having the all honor roll A/B grades, but also it's about community service. It's also about giving back. And so when you write your essay, you've got to add more than I was, the science leader of the school. And so giving them that, and also writing recommendations for them. I'm very proud now that I have 2 that are down there that probably I'll be going to their graduation. Yeah. Because a couple that went before didn't quite get through. And part of that, too, is coaching and mentoring. One person that I'm thinking of, and particularly, it was kind of taking the fish out of the water. And so even our young people that go to some of the private schools around us, we have to nurture them. We have to also coach and mentor them when they're going to a Haverford or a Baldwin, because they're not going in the same world. They're coming from a different world, all right? I really believe if that young lady was at Cheney or Lincoln, then we would have been more tuned into her, because she was from a drug-infested environment. She rose out of it, but there's a point where we can't let them go if we know that. And so that's where that coaching and mentoring come in.